Hey everyone, this is Chase with TCG Bulk Kings. Today I'm going to show you my bulk processing system. This is something I've been working on for a really long time. I've been narrowing down, honing down all the different practices and processes here. This is basically, I'm going to be describing how I take a collection of cards that comes in that is random, mixed up, different conditions, maybe even multiple games. I take that and I turn it into cards that are ready to list on the platform of my choice, TCG Player or eBay or buysportscards.com or wherever else it is that I'm selling. I had a big collection come in that I wanted to show some of that process for, so I'm finally getting around to actually putting down on paper, so to speak, on digital paper, on digital film, how it is exactly that I go through all that. This process, like I said, I've been working on it and continuously improving it for several months. This isn't an end point where I'm not ever going to improve it from here. I feel confident that this is where I'm at and that it's a good way, but I'm not going to stop improving it. It is going to continue improving over time. Definitely as I add more games or more different types of trading cards. I'm adding sports cards into my business. I look forward in the future to adding new games that come out like Disney Lorcana or some of the other popular games that I haven't really put in yet, like One Piece or Digimon or things like that. Looking forward to adding non-sports, non-TCG cards like maybe Star Wars Galaxy cards or Marvel cards and things like that in the future as well. So I wanted to make a process that is 100% applicable to all those or able to adapt to all of those going forward. This also is kind of in response to increased visibility of the robotic card sorters that are out there. I don't have anything against those. I think they're a really neat idea. I don't think that they're quite appropriate for my business. If you are only in Pokemon or Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh! And you're well capitalized and you don't want to have the extra employees, then the robotic sorters might be best for you. I'm interested in working from the ground up. I haven't ever hired an employee, but I'm trying to figure out the best practices for myself and to get them all recorded down so that next month I may be able to start having an employee come in and sort cards for me. And I wanted to have a process in place for that. Also, I wanted to have a process that I could share with you guys who may be just starting out or who may not be interested in spending the big cost of money up front. I wanted you to be able to have a process that's a legitimate business practice that you can do that is vetted and is actually functional inside a business. That means selling a card. It's something you can do in your living room, right in your dining table or in your spare bedroom as you're getting started, so that you're not feeling like you have to rent a brick and mortar business location and come up with money for a robotic sorter and all this and that and the other. This is not something you have to be a $250,000 upfront business to get started on. You can start doing this yourself in your house, on your table, after your drafts or whatever it is that you do. The way that my system works is that there's a few steps, broad steps that I'll go through here. The very first step is the game sort step. And the game sort step is basically you're taking the cards, and most of the time you're buying all from one game, but you may not be. It may be you pick up Magic and some Pokemon on the side, or you got Yu-Gi-Oh, but they were also big into Dragon Ball Super, or they found a box with 7 different dead CCGs in it, or you're picking up a sports card collection and it's got 10,000 baseball and 5,000 football and 2,000 hockey, and they're all kind of mixed up. You want to get those separated out so that you're only focusing on one game at a time. So all the Magic together, all the Pokemon together, all the football cards together. The next step would be what I call a category sort. And for the category sort, what you're going to do is you're breaking up the monolith of bulk into categories. So for Magic, say you've got commons and uncommons, you've got rares, you've got foils, you've got basic lands and tokens. You've got cards that you want to list right away because they're high demand, and you know it's $2 cards or $10 cards or $40 cards. You don't want to wait until you've sorted all this bulk and get to that set to get those listed. You want to get them listed today so they can sell tomorrow instead of a month from now or a week from now. At this step also, you want to do you want to treat as one of your categories as cards that are damaged and impossible to sell unless they're, again, super high-end cards that you definitely want to put out there even with the damage on them. But if you're just going through and you're finding bulk commons and uncommons with tears or missing corners or something like that, go ahead and get them out the way. Don't put them in your bulk commons and uncommons to have to deal with later. Anything that's obviously unsellable, go ahead and pull it out. That's your first condition check. So category sorts for other games, like if it was Pokemon, you've got commons and uncommons, you've got hollows and reverse hollows, rares, energies, and then your hit cards like Vs, VMAX, that kind of thing. If it's sports cards, you've got base sets, you've got colored parallels, you've got inserts and autos and patches and things like that. Get all that stuff separated out into different categories. You want your base stuff separate from the higher end stuff that is more urgent to list. After the category sort, you've got 20,000 bulk commons and uncommons, and you're wanting to get those sorted. So you can see here I have moved on to the next stage of the sorting process for the bulk processing system. We've done the category sort, and now I am working on the alphabetic set sort. So what it is each of these stacks corresponds to the initial of the set name. So this is Aether Revolt, Amonkhet, more Aether Revolt. Here we have Return to Ravnica, Original Ravnica, Rivals of Ixalan, and then I'm just making a pile here of lower than near mint cards that I'm sorting out as I go through the whole process, rather than try and do an entire sort that is just conditioning. I find that if I condition as I go, that I eliminate the extra need for that step, and it doesn't add much time significantly to this, because it really takes a couple seconds per card to condition it correctly every time. But I'm already looking at the cards. I can already see most of the cards, whether or not they're near mint condition, and I can make the decision on the spot. And if I miss one, I'm going to go back through these again, and I'll just keep an eye out for condition as I go along the whole process. And when I do that, I very rarely fail to winnow out some card that needs to be winnowed out. Hey everybody, taking a quick break from the video here. If this has been helpful to you at all, if you've enjoyed this, or if you think that you might get some use out of this, go ahead and hit the like button for me. That really helps me out and gets this in front of the eyeballs of other people like you who may also need or could use this information. Also, if you'd like a written version of this, I have created one. I'm going to continuously update it, like I said, as I go along. But there is a current written version out there. It's available to download at the link to my Ko-fi shop that I've got down in the description below. Or if you're a patron, then you get that for free in perpetuity with all the updates as long as you're a patron. So anyway, thanks. Okay, so now that I've finished sorting through that box of cards, I will take each letter, each set letter, and sort out the different sets. So I've got Alara Reborn here on top, Amonkhet, Aether Revolt, Avacyn Restored, Arch Enemy Nicol Bolas right there, Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. So this step goes really quickly usually, unless you've got a massive number of cards. So I kind of tend to do this real quick and then take each stack for each set and alphabetize them real quick. Oops, so there's another quality control one. Put that to the side. But there's a lot fewer of them to find at this step than in the previous step because we've eliminated a bunch of those in the previous step. So now we're just looking to see if anything else jumps out at us while we're doing this set sort. Okay, so that's that. So we've got a stack of Avison restored here. It's not a huge number of cards, but we'll just alphabetize them real quick. L, H, K, L. That's it. These are the Alara Reborn, E, G, D, M, there, done. Now it doesn't always go that quickly, sometimes they're a little more disorganized. Now if this stack was, if I had maybe, you know, double this for this set, I would go ahead and just like with the set letter sort, I would do a letter sort based on the initial of the card. And that's it. These are ready to list, they're processed, they're ready to go. And I would just do that at scale. You know, it took me a couple of hours to sort through these 3,000 cards, to set sort them, to alpha set sort them. It would probably take me another couple of hours to list them. So my bulk processing system is intended to be completely game, sport, IP agnostic. The same system is used in general no matter what trading card game it is, or whether it's sports cards, or if it's Garbage Pail Kids or Desert Storm trading cards or Star Wars Galaxy cards or whatever. First you do a what I call a game sort because I'm mostly in TCGs and sports cards, but you're separating out Magic from Pokemon, baseball from football, whatever. Then you do a category sort where you are pulling out the urgent to sell cards right away. So if you find mana crypts in your bulk, set them aside and list them right away. If you find, you know, base set hollows, pull them out and list them right away. Anything interesting that you're wanting to keep aside, do that during the first step. Get that stuff listed. But as far as processing the remainder of the bulk, you do your category sort. So you got your commons and uncommons, you separate out your foils, you separate out your mythics and rares that aren't urgent to list. Then you do, for Magic, I do my set alpha sort. That can be different for other games. That is specific to Magic because there's so many sets that if you have a good way to sort Pokemon like macro level, similarly to sorting Magic cards alphabetically by set, let me know. Then you've got your set sort that I just did here. Then you alphabetize within the set and then they're ready to list. That's the same process no matter, again, if it's football, you're taking you've separated out the football cards, you set aside the important ones, and so you've got your base sets and your colors and your parallels and inserts and whatnot all separated out in different stacks. And then you would separate out by year and by manufacturer, so Topps versus Fleer, 96 versus 2005, whatever. I haven't really nailed down that process yet because I haven't had my hands on that many sports cards to try and have to deal with. That improved process will certainly come in later videos, later updates to my document. And then you take your set, you alphabetize within the set, or sports cards, most places you can do by the card number. If you're doing it on eBay, just include the card number in your title. You won't have a problem. Buysportscards.com, it's organized by card number, so it's probably better by card number if you're doing sports cards. And then you work down the list and list them. They're ready to go.